Clinton's appearance on Face the Nation today is just the latest in a new media blitz for the former Secretary of State, as aides put it to the New York Times to show more humor and heart. But is it paying off? Joining us now, host of Fox News Media Buzz, Howard Kurtz. She was famously quoted as saying that she had things she preferred to do on Sunday morning rather than be on the Sunday shows. Is the fact that she's doing this now after 4 years of not being on a Sunday show a sign of desperation in the campaign as the poll numbers continue to fall?
It's a sign that we have a very competitive Democratic race, which did not look to be the case recently. So that's why she's going on Jimmy Fallon, who pulled her hair. She's dancing with Ellen DeGeneres. And now realizing she has to make the Sunday show circuit. And if she'd started doing that over the summer, I think it would have been better for her. And there wouldn't have been this tension and buildup between her and the press corps about unanswered questions, particularly about the email.
Particularly about the email, but that wasn't the first thing that was brought up. We counted 9 minutes into this interview. Finally, the email situation came up. They talked about refugees. They talked about Jeb Bush. They talked about Russia. And this is how the host of Face the Nation, John Dickerson, talked about the email scandal.
Making decisions in nanoseconds, or fooling around as they did in the 80s in, packaging mortgage securities in a way that really bombed us into the Great Recession. I don't think any financial institution, not just banks, because I think it's important to recognize there are a lot of financial institutions. AIG was a problem. Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. They were not banks in the traditional sense. We need to rein in the risks posed by these financial institutions.
A final question.
Appears as though that was the wrong soundbite. In the end, she said, I did the wrong thing. She sort of rolled the same thing out. I'm sorry, but it was allowed. What we didn't see from John Dickerson was a really tough follow-up of, okay, did you ask anyone permission? And if you're sorry about this, why not release all the emails tomorrow? Why aren't we seeing that kind of tough questioning?
Well, I think John Dickerson did press Hillary Clinton about Benghazi, going back to what actually happened, not just the way it's been spun as a story. And I think he may have made the calculation that since she's apologized and done interviews about the email fiasco with ABC and with Andrea Mitchell on MSNBC, and maybe he wasn't going to be able to break much new ground. From Hillary Clinton's point of view, this is exactly what she wants, and again, should have done a long time ago. The more she takes these questions, even if she's given essentially the same answers, even if she's not really addressing the FBI investigation, it starts to feel like old news for the audience, and maybe that enables her to change the subject to, I'm a real person.
Was that a good response when she was asked to sum up her campaign in 3 words, and she says, look, I'm a real person? If you have to say that, isn't that in and of itself saying something?
I like the way she laughed when she said it, but yes, this is a case of her reading the talking points. The campaign had announced to the New York Times, as you cited, she's going to be warmer, she's going to be funnier, and so maybe it's a little bit of self-deprecating humor, but the problem is that Hillary Clinton, for 25 years now, has had kind of a cold and calculating and somewhat wooden image. She doesn't seem to loosen up in front of the cameras. Clearly, with Bernie Sanders challenging her, which nobody thought he would give her a serious run, with Joe Biden possibly getting into the race, she and her folks have made the decision that she's got to find a way to warm up and connect with Democratic voters.
Give it a grade. So far, is this warm and fuzzier rollout as cited by the New York Times? Is it working?
She did fine on Jimmy Fallon, but overall I'd give it a B. She's got a lot of ground to make up because she has been staying away from the media. But as a journalist, the more the merrier. I'd love to see her on Fox. Love to see her do more of these.
I think there's all of us who would love to invite her on. Consider it an open invitation any Sunday to your show, Media Buzz, which re-airs later this afternoon, or ours for that matter.
Nice way you slid that plug in.
Thanks, Howie.